mainstream press that most people rely on for their information won't cover anything. They're not allowed to, their councils of big tables of lawyers and everything, and government spooks, etc. It can tell them what they're going to say exactly word for word in all channels at the same time. They don't even get their own stories except for local stories. They buy it from the BBC and two other smaller international outlets. They just pay cash for the cheapest, the lousiest story, and they never give you anything that you need to know. So one retired government biologist says that he knows of 400,000 Russian soldiers out of here. I told you here there's a fellow I know here in town who works in a building where there is an FBI substation. He said they were all talking to each other in Russian. He said he didn't know what they were saying. But when they didn't know he was, right nearby, he heard them all talking to each other in Russian because he had a grandmother that only spoke Russian only, and he knew it was Russian. Well, so Obama arranges to, I guess one of his executive orders that bypasses Congress and bypasses the media legally, so that I guess no real details can be given, but one insider says that one of the 22 executive orders recently was turned over the internet to foreign enemy powers of the United Nations, who are planning to invade. Homeland Security has recently purchased, we know of, at least 2,700 armored personnel carriers and 1,000 pistol rounds, enough to be 1,000 pistol rounds for every man, woman, and child in America. That doesn't count hundreds of millions of sniper rounds. These are hollow point. These aren't target rounds. A military document got leaked on a military website, a note to officers saying that there was going to be armed warfare and conflict on U.S. soil against the American public in 2016. And saying, get anyone out who won't fight against the American public just for payola. Now, all the soldiers they made American citizens from any country in the world just for fighting over there, I'm sure will be fighting against American citizens. Alex Jones revealed drills being held to say, "Out of your car, citizen! On the ground, citizen!" Really just nasty. Let me say, here's something that Vladimir Putin, of Russia, he was a very bright spy, they tell me. I won't go into all the things I've heard that he was able to do, but really something. But here's this is the wonderful John B. Wells, who usually does weekends with coasttocoastam.com or 790 AM here in Tucson. I guess it's got more outlets now than any other program in the world. No matter where you live, you can probably pick it up on AM or FM radio. You might go to coastam.com, and you can find out what radio stations you can hear about in the area in which you live. But here's what Vladimir Putin said, and
reducing taxes on production, investing money in the economy, we are optimizing state expenses. The second possible mistake would be excessive interference into the economic life of the country and the absolute faith into the almightiness of the state. There are no grounds to suggest that by putting the responsibility over to the state, one can achieve better results. This is Vladimir Putin talking. Unreasonable expansion of the budget, deficit, accumulation of the national debt are as destructive as an adventurous stock market game. During the time of the Soviet Union, the role of the state and economy was made absolute, which eventually led to the total non-competitiveness of the economy. That lesson cost us very dearly. I am sure no one would want history to repeat itself. We must seek support in the moral values that have ensured the progress of our civilization. Honesty and hard work, responsibility and faith in our strength are bound to bring us success. Vladimir Putin speaks. Isn't that something to hear from Vlad?
Yeah, that's kind of amazing coming from Vladimir Putin. But in any case, also you might Google Obama impeached. Well, at least the Supreme Court said he should be impeached, that he violated so many things. I guess they gave it 90 days for him to resign, or the Congress was to impeach him. But of course, I believe Congress' lives are being threatened too, or they wouldn't have signed the Defense Authorization Act. It's clearly unconstitutional and illegal as part of a military strategy to make our public believe that there's some kind of due process, some kind of real, reason for it. Before Obama even got elected, he had agreed that he would disarm the American public. That the Small Arms Act, Russia and China are both very much wanting the American public disarmed, and they've been verbalizing and vocalizing that. And Obama says, "Yes'm," and of course he believes that the United Nations should rule the world anyway, a one-world military dictatorship of the United Nations, what Adolf Hitler called the New World Order, what George Bush Sr. called the New World Order, what his forebearers in Congress were indicted for treason under, Trading with the Enemies Act, for pushing the Nazi tried to get a Nazi takeover of Washington, D.C. And then, of course, arranged for John F. Kennedy's limousine to stop right there without a bulletproof shield over it. Well, I guess Kennedy could be called a conspiracy buff, huh? Conspiracy is nothing more than a collusion of power to illegal ends. It's what you normally expect. And yet, the media was used to take advantage of a naive, trusting American public by saying conspiracy theory. It's like saying traffic accident. People are murdered with cars. Just because it's a trend in with a car, it's not an accident. Just because it's labeled conspiracy and hundreds of people a day go to jail for conspiracy in America, folks. Do you think they're only interested in small potatoes? There are people like Rothschild, Rockefeller, their third cousins, and other such types of globalists who, they're pretty bad people, folks. They get off on people suffering. It's the more they can make you suffer, some of them just better it makes them feel. Now, another thing that John B. Wells recommended was Reason.com, a full-spectrum-dominance.com. What is this other thing? Oh, pandaunite.org. A couple of channels. I just skimmed them some. I don't have any time lately, but if he recommends it, I have full confidence in his choice of alternate websites you might find of interest. But you could link, Google that Obama impeached type of thing, and it said that even Lyndon LaRouche, who was jailed rather than allowed to run for president in earlier times when he was really the best candidate, he got up there and lectured. If you go on the internet, he's one of the people speaking, saying that it looked like it was going to happen, but of course there could still be a coup d'etat, killing off of people of opposition, a show of force. Of course, Breitbart, the president alone decides who is assassinated, and Breitbart was going to remove him from office and probably have him put in jail. Or, when people know really what happened, may be executed. But the problem here is this, too. Another provision that I know of, and I'm sure there's a whole lot more, because the big oil man said what it's really about is total control. Nothing at all to do with health care. He says that no one's going to be able to get any health care, period, unless they take a microchip under the skin. But in animals, it is proved to cause cancer. Was it saying about a grievous sore after taking the mark in the Bible? A grievous sore, is that cancer from a microchip? Well, all this can be changed. I don't believe, I believe any and all of it can be changed. But folks, this is a military operation. All these mass shootings that had multiple shooters, and yet by the time it gets to the national news, it sounds like there was only one shooter. All the local press reported multiple shooters, Sandy Hook and all these. After the takeaway of the guns was already arranged, this started happening to do it. Goodbye, good luck till the next time, if there is one.